still remember what it was like the first time I stepped into a race car. The sound of the engine, the anticipation, but I never could have imagined where this journey would take me. My father once told me that racing is just like life. You have to stay on your toes, because you never know what's around the next corner. Bill Watson, and this is my story.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing. Today, from the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, it's the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 9 coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship. England's Mark Usher has won half the races this season, but by some accounts, is still a long shot to win the championship. Spain's Xavi Ross has yet to win this season, but by some accounts, is the favorite to win the championship. With 2/3 of the season in the books, for drivers, fans, and commentators alike, who will win the championship is still very much in doubt. Intrigued? Stay tuned, because what happens next? All the simulated Williams FW31 action from green flag to victory donuts is streaming your way live as it happens right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. Up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view, Stefan Slocker, joined by yours truly, Bill Soupson. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, armed with cameras, locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Okay, Stefan, there might not be any Ferraris on the track today, but the spirit of the prancing horse lives through every corner and down every straight. Tell us a little bit about today's racetrack.
Well, sir, today marks one of two Gran Premio d'Italia. And to say it once more, Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari is the full name of this track here in Imola. 17 turns are marked out around this 3-mile-long track. But the real challenge aren't that much the turns alone, but the turns and the height profile of this track. It's a nasty combination, hard to master, but very rewarding when done right. Another thing these guys down there have to master today are the high curves and sausage curve. Done right, they will see one of the fastest tracks on the schedule. Just south of 140 miles per hour are expected. But let us send you trackside now and show you what this track has to offer in our GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Clayton McLeod and the GSRC Williams, so let's do a lap around Imola. It's a very fast run down to Tamburello, so you can expect most pass attempts to be done here in the braking. With the immense downforce of an F1 car, the third apex in the chicane doesn't mean as much, so it's all about launching yourself off the second one. That sends us on the run down to Villeneuve, which is going to be incredibly tricky to try to overtake into. You brake very, very late into this second chicane. Plus, it's smarter to keep yourself safe from surprise attacks into Tosa by getting a good exit. But then you've got the tricky climb out of this hairpin. Avoiding wheel spin will be critical, but it's also a super steep climb up to the next corner, so don't hesitate too much on the power. Piratella is next, and it's surprisingly tough to hit this apex. You've got very little time to relax, because as we duck down into the valley, we've got the finicky braking for Aqua Minerale. The key here is not running too wide on the second apex, because you'll be given a slowdown penalty if you abuse the track limits. Then, it's a rush up to another place you tend to see passes, the Alta Chicane. Try to stay off those monster curbs on the inside, because the car will almost certainly loop around if you hit them. Once again, be confident on the power and will drop an elevation for the last time on the lap. Ravazza is another place where overtakes are possible, but the braking can easily be overcooked. You only get a tiny squirt of power before the second part of the corner, which is definitely the most important exit on the track. It leads onto the front stretch, which is the longest acceleration zone of the circuit. If you can stay close behind, you could even get a slipstream to help with the pass. But hopefully, if you've kept it all together, you've now finished a lap around Imola.
Joe Peak doing what he does so well, talking and taking a viewer around a road course, this time Imola. Now, to help the viewers understand the championship race, GSRC is doing something unique. We're showing both the raw point standings and the drop or net point standings. And depending on whether you're a Trojan or a Spartan, who is the point leader is very much in debate. And in both raw points and net drop points, the picture pretty much looks the same as we showed you last round. Looking at the raw points, everyone holds station except for Antonio Poveda, who shows up in fifth. Now, Xavi Ross, Thomas Seeger, and the two Sanfilippo boys, Marco and Danilo, sit above Poveda. Poveda is the only driver of the five with a win this season. Let's go ahead now and look at the raw points. And these show a total taking into account not the 8 races that a driver gets to keep, but rather the 4 races that, a driver is forced to drop. And here is the best 4 of 8 results. Now, the most important thing, notice the droplet by each driver's name. That shows the highest single race point that a driver has to drop, and it's the most important one right now. When you look at the one on Mark Usher's road down there, it is a 0, meaning there is no more drop insurance for Usher. If he misses this race, he scores a 0. A bad result counts that bad result. Mark Usher gets to drop 4 races, and he gets to drop the 4 races he didn't race in. And he gets to keep the 4 races that he won. So it's no surprise to see him up on front. Now, Poveda is just 23 points back, but he's in a similar position as Usher because that 14 points, basically, that's real close to a 0. He's going to have to score that one if something bad happens. Look at Ross and the Sanfilippo guys. They are forced to throw away 163, 130, and 140 points respectively. So they're in a much better position if disaster strikes. Now, the points made last round still applies. The fact that Ross is leading in the raw points and sitting third in the net points, man, that driver's in a pretty good position to win the championship. All right, that's an detailed look at how we think things are going right now. Let's look at something a little more simple. Let's take a look at the event details.
Well, as you said, quite simple. Round 9 of 12, this marks the first race of the third of this season, so to speak. Just 4 more races to go with this one. Race length today, however, 41 laps, and that is obviously because of our very high delta speed that we have here just south of the already said 140 miles per hour. 1 pit stop as always required for this series. Incident cap standard for iRacing 17 incidents, and you're on the bench. Points for the B&I Championship, that is, they use the official iRacing point system, so the higher the SRF, the better points you get.
It's weather time. Let's bring that up. Stefan, what do you think?
I'm thinking trouble, if I'm honest. It's all about the exits here, and with a track temperature of 115 Fahrenheit, that is nearly as high as the sky is blue, because we have clear weather today, 81 Fahrenheit in the air. The winds pretty much non-existent with those 7 miles per hour. They can spring up to about 10. I've already seen that today, but that shouldn't be any issues. Also, the humidity 41%, that's also not going to be any problem for these guys out there today.
The best of the best in the iRacing World Championship, as well as many top private leagues like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here on the iRacing Esports Network. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you subscribe. I'll tell you this, GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. All right, we have all the business out of the way. Now we can focus our attention to the business that is taking place on the track. Qualifying is going on. There's a few points I want to make here. Mark Usher and Antonio Poveda are not here today. So we talked about those drop races. Usher's going to be forced to score a 0. That's pretty much going to crush any of his championship hopes. And Poveda, well, he'll have to score that 14 as well. And my goodness, that's going to hurt him. So now really we start to put our attention on the drivers that were doing well in those raw points. Taking a look at this. There's Xavi Ross. He's here.
And we're on board currently with Michel Ursal, who didn't put in a lap yet, so the Canadian driver still on their first lap to score here. And I have to say, I'm a bit surprised. We only see the two San Filippos out of Italy and nobody else.
And again, one of the dichotomies of an official iRacing event, we have a large field today because we had a small turnout. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but we didn't have enough drivers for this to split. So everybody who wanted to race is going to show up in this single race here. This is the only split that is showing. That's why we have a large 19-car field. And qualifying is done, I believe, so we can go to the grid. And I'll run down we have 20 drivers. I'll take the top 10. Marco Sanfilippo is on the pole. Thomas Ziegler sits outside of him. Row 2 is Iker Estefania. We'll get that one in there right. Okay, and Xavi Ross is going to be in 4th. Danilo Sanfilippo and Ian Keeman go 5th and 6th. Lars Hung and John Pat Kelly go 7 and 8. David Cudmore and Robert Plumley. Hey! Roger Sugar Plumley here with us at 10th. Stefan?
Deva Botaro Mura in 11th place. Alongside him will be David Sanchez. Mark Anderson in 13th. Jerry Forkop 14th. 15th is rounded up by Frederic Domas. The last cars are not putting in any qualifying time. That is Stefano Calaskibera, Michel Ursal, Dave Patterson, and Romain Stock.
19 cars on the grid here today. Look at that beautiful Italian sky. Hardly a cloud up there. Good weather for the fans, tough weather for the drivers. Surprised to see Marco Sanfilippo sitting up on the pole. That is his first pole this season. Xavi Ross down in 4th. Still looking for his first win. I scanned through the field. I do not see a winner so far this season on the grid. So that pretty much guarantees us a new winner. First time winner today. Gather up the chickens, take covering on the cows. The horses are out of the barn. And the one car that jumps to the lead. A great start up in front from the car in the second position. That is Thomas Ziegler. He gets around Xavi Ross gets there too. Marco Sanfilippo with a horrible start from the pole, Stefan.
Oh, and a big pile up in the back. John Pat Kelly on the roof, so his race is done. And also wanted to say Iker Estefania. What a horrible start from him, starting 3rd, already down to 6th position.
We'll come back and take a look at John Kelly, who did get upside down. A few drivers got into him. We'll come back and look at that when the action allows. Up front, Ziegler, Ross, Marco Sanfilippo, Danilo Sanfilippo running at your top 5, and he's quick. Ian Keeman, watch out for him in the 5 car. We seem to be very fast if you can just keep the car on the grade.
Already a little bit of a break there between Marco Sanfilippo and Danilo Sanfilippo between 3rd and 4th place. About a second of a gap already, and that is a bit surprising that Danilo can't follow the pace of his brother right now.
We talked about the top 5. I'll just run down the back half of your top 10. That's going to be Iker Estefania, Lars Hung, Stefan Calasabrito. We got some names I got to work on here. Robert Sugar Plumley back in 9th. David Cudmore. A lot of new names here for me.
And the first bespoke Iker Estefania just overtook Ivan Kieman for P5 as we go on board with Thomas Ziga.
Yeah, I was expecting Kieman to go ahead and make his way to the front, but that's not going to happen. Estefania now coming, and he's right on the back of Danilo Sanfilippo. There's a nice battle for fourth. Right on board with the number 3.
And look at how much speed he has over Danilo Sanfilippo there through the last turn. That long left-hander, that's actually a double apex more than a constant radius.
They head down to Alta right now. This little right-left combination. Oh, and there's a mistake from Sanfilippo. That'll cost him a slowdown penalty. He'll certainly lose 1, if not 2. You know what? That scared Estefania, and he got scared now, and he loses the position to Kieman.
Yeah, Iker, I think he expected him to spin out or something like that because he really took it to the right side and then just didn't do anything with that. He even got on the AstroTurf, which lost the position to Kieman, but here he comes
back. Oh my goodness, Kieman really squeezed him down there. I gotta think there's a slowdown penalty in Danilo Sanfilippo's future, but maybe not. He might be waiting to serve. He should have had to serve it by now. A mistake from Marco Sanfilippo. He's losing. Now we don't need to go there, but he loses a little ground to Xavi Ross. Thomas Ziegler starts to inch away from the Spanish driver.
Yeah, and Marco Sanfilippo tried to overtake Xavi into turn 1, didn't succeed. Sorry, turn 2 it actually is. But right now it seems like that Marco Sanfilippo has better pace than Xavi Ross.
Right on board with the driver in third, hunting down Xavi Ross. All these drivers have raced up front all season long. Seeger and Ross and Sanfilippo. In fact, both Sanfilippos for that matter. No wins between them. We'll get one today. Nice battle back for 7th position now as Keenan continues to go the wrong direction.
Yeah, Keenan really having problems with the speed of his car right now.
Here comes Calasabeda. Oh, careful! They get together. Oh, Keenan just chopped him. Or it could be a late presentation from Stefano. Why don't you, we'll take a look at this one. Why don't you, the viewer, this is a good angle. Let's stay right here. Let's you, the viewer, make the call on this one. Is he there? Looks like he's there.
No, it always is that saying, oh, Xavi Ross just made a mistake. And Marco Sanfilippo got passed into Aqua Minerale.
We'll get a replay of Xavi Ross.
Yeah, there we go. It's the double left-hander, just way too wide. On the exit, runs on the AstroTurf, runs into the gravel, and there goes Marco Sanfilippo down the left side.
Could have been worse. We look back at Ross. What was the point you were making there, Steph, on the incident we saw before?
Yeah, you can always argue he was there, and yeah, if you have the tire on the inside, you're there. So yeah, but after all, it's a racing incident, I would say.
Yeah. It has been an exciting early part of this race. Too much excitement right now. We still have... Oh, there's a spin from Marco Sanfilippo, who was racing up in 2nd position. You see it right there. And now we'll come back to replay. He comes back out in 6th.
Ever so slightly nosed it into the wall there, but I don't think he collected any damage from that.
So Xavi Ross made a mistake that gave Sanfilippo 2nd position. Then Marco gives it right back to him. Here it comes.
It's one of those interesting mistakes where it's just a little bit too much of a wheel angle while having the full throttle down and just loses the rear. But I don't think he picked up any damage.
And this is wonderful news to Thomas Seeger, because what he does maybe a little bit down on pace this season, but what he's really good at is just keeping the car clean and bringing it home. And if Ross and Sanfilippo behind him are going to continue to make mistakes, that's good news for a guy whose maybe his forte is not pace, but bringing it home clean. The driver to watch is the driver in third, Icarus Estefania. He is coming. 7th position is a good one. Calasabretta up there in 6th, 7th position. I am Keeman again looking at him. Whew.
That was quite a late move from Stefano there, but no harm, no foul to Keeman. Stays behind, not able to outbrake Stefano there into turn 2.
Keeman probably learning how things work from the incident he had earlier, so maybe he gets an tire in there. That's all he needs to do. Go ahead, Steph.
Just a quick note, Danilo Sanfilippo did overtake Lars Hang for P4 just a few corners ago. Easily overtake. Let's go to replay if we have it for it. As you can see, also was into turn 1 there. One of the most easiest overtakes you can have, just down the straight line in the draft. No DRS, no curse, no anything.
Battery's not included here, baby.
Thomas Seeger with the fastest lap just now. So he really seems to be very liking this track right now.
All right, here they are again. This is time. It's Keeman on the outside, and he has to wait. This is really where the action is. The white car is Calasabretta. The orange car, my God, hopefully it's orange. That red car, thank you, director. That is Keeman.
Yeah, if we have another red car ahead of Stefano, we would have the Austrian flag racing.
These guys race about 5 seconds behind Marco Sanfilippo. This is the best battle on the track. We've been jumping around a little bit. Let's stay on this one and enjoy these guys working on each other. Everybody else is pretty much separated. There is another nice battle. We'll check in a little bit in 10th position between Sanchez and Robert Sugar Plumley. But we'll stay where... And there's the pass. Plumley just gets around as Sanchez makes a mistake. Sugar Plumley gets that pass made, moves up into the top 10. For now.
And Lars Hang soon gonna be overtaken by the second Sanfilippo. There's about 2 seconds of a difference between the two drivers.
Yeah, he's coming and coming quick, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. It's only gonna take about a lap, then Marcus Sanfilippo will be just under that small rear wing of the FW31.
Hung qualified in 7th. Sanfilippo, your pole sitter, hung up there because he's this kind of vulture. Oh no!
There
right in
goes.
front of him. There it is. Large hung into the grass. Stefan, we saw this one happen live. We were on board. Watch his hands.
And that is an easy mistake to make here. A little bit too much on the steering lock with the throttle input, and around she goes.
He comes back out in 8th position behind Calasabretta and Keeman, who continued the battle. So let's jump up a couple spots to 6th. I think we're going to see him pass here any minute. A bad exit out of Alta, and now here comes Keeman. They head down into Ravazza. This is a double left-hander. There's one, and then here's the other one. Let's watch the run, because I think if Keeman get any kind of momentum, doesn't get a great run out of Ravazza, though. Let's see if he gobbles them up. A lot of time for the draft to play into effect here, Steph. Let's see if he gets them.
Well, he sure is coming there. Keeman has to take once again to the outside, but Stefano way better on the brakes and stays at it. There goes Keeman.
He's got it parked. I think he's got a while to get it going. I don't think Hung's going to get there because Hung just had that spin. So Keeman loses touch with Calasabrera, but he's able to hang on to 7.
And one thing we have to say right now, if we can go to Xavi Rons, he is running into traffic already. Lap 9, and he's behind David Katamor and Clevo Potato Mura, who are fighting themselves for P15.
Stay here. This will be fun. Already making their way through this is our leader, Thomas Seeger. He's long gone. A nice battle for what is 15th position. And then here's our driver in second, who's already made that pass. Ross has already got it. Look at that. Mora pulls over. Let the front runner go by and does not lose the position to Cudmore. They continue to battle. I always think of it as children playing ball in the street. When you see a car coming, everyone yells, "Car!" The game stops, the car goes by, and the game picks right back up where they left off. Mora ahead of Cudmore. These guys are the leaders, 1 lap down.
And Cudmore in that green car chasing down Mura. Once again, a little mistake from Cudmore, not costing him any time. Let's see how he comes through. Wow, what an overspeed there from Cudmore. Way better through Aqua Minerale. Not able to do anything into the Variante Alta.
"32 laps to go. 8 laps down. Well, there is a pit stop in store. A 3-second lead for Thomas Seeger, looking to get his first win. Look at this battle. I think we're going to see it pass coming up here. Cudmore is in the tow. Moves to the inside. Moore is not going to have anything for him. Puts up the best fight he can. Cudmore now the leader of all the cars, 1 lap down. Here's Thomas Seeger out in front, 2.7 seconds. He's got on Xavi Ross, but he's got another back marker to deal with here in a second. Roman Stark.
Yeah, these guys, obviously they are way slower right now because of that starting incident that we had, where a few cars were tumbling, sadly.
And here's the pass made easily.
So these guys already had either a pit stop already, or are just that slow with the damage right now to already be a lap.
Things settling down a bit now. Not sure if we're able to do it. I'll check with the director. Are we able to go back to check that first lap incident where Kelly was upside down? There's an opportunity. We promised you to look at this on the first lap. Let's take a peek at it. This was a big one. Took out a few drivers, got caught in this one. Here they come at it.
It started quite a bit further up the field with someone having to slow down quite a lot as the tree perfectly blocks our view there.
Look at that. All right. Take your Dramamine. We're going to ride on board with Pat Kelly. It's blue above gray. It's gray above blue. It's blue above gray. It's gray above blue. And that's how we end up. One more angle on this one. Boy, that's a pretty shot. Look at him coming at you. Low angle shot, and there he goes over. We're back up live on our leader.
Yeah, and the two San Filippos just had bad luck with the traffic. They just caught 3 cars all at once, and they were also fighting for the positions. The Marco San Filippo caught up right there with Danilo San Filippo, so we now have a battle for that P4 at the moment.
Moore doing his best to try to get out of the way. There are now 12 cars on the lead lap. David Sanchez being the last one. He's got quite a gap before Seeger gets to him. Let's keep on the San Filippo battle. This is a fun one.
And just a quick notice, we don't need to go there. Robert Plumley just spun out of the Variante Alta. No harm, no foul. Racing all low.
Yeah. We'll stay on the battle between the brothers. We'll find out if we have a little brotherly love going on or maybe a little Cain and Abel situation. Let's see how this plays out. Brotherly shove from our director. I like that one. To be honest, I can't remember if Danella or Marco sits ahead in the points. Let me take a quick look at my stats.
Pretty sure it was Marco who sits in front.
And you are correct, sir. Nice going. Marco sits in third. He's got quite a gap on his brother.
And there you can
Here he
see a
comes.
perfectly executed multi-21.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Sanfilippo will be very happy the way their boys are playing together. Nice job. Nobody has to go into timeout and sit in the corner.
And it seems like that Thomas Seeger is starting to have a little bit of problems with his tires because of overheating. Because last lap he lost about a second. Over the last few laps, 4 laps, he has lost about 2.5 seconds to Xavi Ross. So Xavi Ross right now on the move up.
Yeah, Ross is coming, and he is coming quick. The gap is down to under 2 seconds now. Still plenty of racing to go, and in fact, Ross can see him. It's about maybe 20 car lengths as they head down into Rivazza. Not sure if Ross is close enough to be in the tow. Again, Seeger really pushing the envelope of the track boundaries.
And we have to notice this is not down due to any lappings. Lappings are far from done for now. So this is all because of the raw pace of these two guys. Xavi Ross once again 2/10 up on Thomas Seeger.
Alright, now here's Mr. Excitement. This is I Am Keeman and Hung. Looking to see if oh, you know what? Keeman made a mistake through, where would that would have been? That would have been Toza. That's what let Hung get back in the mix here. Because Keeman should be faster, and he is indeed pulling away, so he made a mistake, and the battle got close. Now he's back on the hunt again. He's got 20 seconds to get up to the San Filippo boys. You're looking for a hard charger? How about we go look at the driver currently in 8th? Michel Uzel started in 17th. Up 9 spots. Nobody around him.
I don't know if you want to count it as a hard charge
Yeah,
because
right.
no qualifying time was.
Good call, Stefan. That one
But
doesn't count.
We only have to go down 1 position because Jerry Falkirk from 14th up to 9th with a qualifying lap of 1:16.4, he would be your current hard charge.
Okay. Boys and girls, I'm going to take a shot at this color. I'm looking at it. I'm concentrating on it. I'm saying that is, it's either green or orange. I'm going with green. How'd I do?
Neither.
Mustard. Oh, man. Why do I bother? I tried so hard. I really did.
I think that right now is a little bit the motto of Thomas Seeger, who gets reeled in by Xavi Ross no matter what he does. You saw it on your screens just a few moments ago. Xavi Ross with the new fastest lap of this race, and Thomas Seeger struggling, reaching out, but just not able to do anything against the speed that Xavi Ross has to offer at this moment of time.
You're right. Unbelievable how fast Ross is gaining on him. He loses a little bit of time there. But take a look at this one. This one's a little ugly. This is what Ross does, though. He's fast, but boy, that's one he gets out of the way. Okay, Ziegler gets by the mustard-flavored card of Fulcum, as does Ross. The best battle on the track is right up here for the lead. The German driver, Thomas Ziegler. Oh, and there's another mistake from Ross. Ross wearing out the replay button of our director. Here it is from above. Let's hope the foliage stays out of the way. They're coming up. You'll see it right about here. Whee! So now he's about 2 seconds back, Steph.
Pretty sure that's not the sound he made when he made that mistake. More like, oh my god, oh my god. But yeah, Xavi Ross keeping it together again. And once again, we see the same thing from Xavi Ross that we see every single race. He starts to make mistakes when he gets close to another competitor.
If you know the story of the tortoise and the hare, it's very much Ziegler is the tortoise, just doing what he does, just following the rules, and then there's Xavi Ross the hare, who's fast but always getting into trouble. Gap at 2 seconds now. You gotta wonder how many times he can do that, Steph. I'm talking about Ross and not use up his tires.
Well, let's have a look once again at the track temperature, which still sits about 112 Fahrenheit. As you can see there on your screen, so the track temperature stays quite high, but as said, it is quite high. So whatever Xavi Ross does with his rear tires, they are gonna pay back.
Okay, somewhere, and we're just going to document this. We don't have to look for it because he's made so many. I'm talking about the driver in 8th position, number 5, I Am Keeman. He's made another mistake. He's now lost the positions back to Hung. Remember, Hung was getting behind him, and then he pulled away. Well, he's lost that spot, as he does to Usul.
Quite honestly, I'm starting to see a lot of mistakes from various of people. Danilo Sanfilippo last lap, 2 seconds slow because of a mistake. Marco Sanfilippo, 6 seconds slow because of a mistake. So these guys, wherever they are, they're starting to make mistakes. And that, as said, is down to the super high track temperature that we see right now.
We look at Keeman coming up on Usul. Lord help me, I'm going to try again. Usul's, that's got to be a white car, right? Come on, I can know white. All right. Nobody has white blindness. All right. Now look at this. Did Keeman make another mistake? He did. Now he's in a battle. He's made another one. Yeah, he's off. That's impossible to keep an eye on what IM is doing. All right. Yeah, that's not even for a position behind him. Keeman lost the car again, so he continues to have quite an adventure. How about this, Steph? Look what Ziegler has done now since being pressured by Ross. He's not only maintained the gap, he's kind of opened it up a couple tenths.
Yeah, he's staying in his speed right now. He's just doing his thing. Last lap was his fastest lap with a 20.7. So he is getting faster and faster. That is obviously because the fuel load goes down. Someone is pitting there. That is Romain Stark. Don't need to go there. Lap car already second lap down. But Thomas Ziegler is just doing his stuff. Once again, a new fastest personal lap for him at 20.6. Whereas Xavi Ross, once again, with a little mistake, at 121.4.
Let's check in on 5th position. This is Danilo Sanfilippo. This is not a battle for a position, but we will see what Fulcum can do here as is about to be lapped. It's one of the only places where cars are together on the track. Sometimes this is more exciting than it needs to be. Now he's got David Cudmore behind him, so he's sandwiched between these two lap cars. And honestly, I probably got to this a little sooner than I thought. I thought that Sanfilippo would run him down sooner, and here we go. There we go. Falkland gets the mustard machine out of the way.
Yeah, but this now enabled David Kachmo to come back into that battle for that 10th position.
Yeah, here they come.
And looking at the lap times, David Kachmo faster by about 3 seconds per lap.
Cudmore has a little bit of trouble through Aqua Minerale. He loses some time. Now they go up through Alta. Oh, look at this. There's just a wave by. That was for position. Cudmore qualified in 9th, Fulcum in 14th. I guess Fulcum just figured that that's how it was going to be. A very quiet run from Estefania. He pits from 3rd place.
Well, his run just got more quiet because he's on the pit limiter, speeding down 38 miles per hour, the very long pit straight, and there he comes now to a stop. Up the checks he goes, fuel in, tires on, and off he goes yet again.
He had a comfortable lead over the two Sanfilippo brothers, so I expect when the pit cycle works out, he will cycle out into 3rd. Xavi Ross has had a problem. This looks like it was. This is.
Oh, he is
loops it
done
around
for
and backs
today.
it in the wall. Yeah.
Out of Aqua Minerale, over the curb, hits that, and that is always quite a bit of a drop for these cars. And just spins it out hard into the wall. That's a gearbox change for the next race, and his race is completely done because he's grabbing down.
The bad news is he'll have a bad result for today. The good news is, though, we talked about it in the pre-race show, is he backs it around and he wallets the wall with a wallop. Xavi Ross will get 163 points, though. That's his biggest drop race. And again, he brings it into the pits without a rear wing.
I'm honestly not quite sure why he's bothered to bring back this car, because doing so he spun out 3 times. So yeah, Xavi really danger. If there would have been someone, he would have really dangered them. But
will iRacing let him out?
Probably not.
They'll probably not. You think?
Either way, Thomas Seeger now about 20 or so seconds ahead of second place Marcus Sanfilippo. There you can see it, 23.8 seconds ahead of Marcus Sanfilippo. So unless Seeger makes a mistake, he is going to be your race winner.
Gotta love the tortoise in the hair, baby. The tortoise is showing you how to do it.
But we also have to look at what this does for your championship standings, as Lars Hung and Michel Usal are in the pit lane, because Xavi Ross, he's gonna drop quite a few points.
Yep. And without Poveda being here and Usher, those are the guys that we thought could steal the championship because they had been doing so well, but they had to watch out about dropped races and miss because they had missed so many. They're going to be out of the picture. This really looking good now for the German driver. I don't think he has a finish. I'll have to double check, and I'll certainly let you know before the next race when we do our pre-race show. I don't think he's finished higher than 4th this season.
Why did Iker Estefania pit again?
Yeah, boy. A second stop for Iker. He was going to be in great position. He was going to be our second place driver. Now, he did have quite a gap on the Sanfilippo boys, but I don't think it was enough that he could come in twice.
I see. Okay, he spun out of the chicane and replaced his front wing again. So, there we go.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun when Marco and Danilo come in to see where he cycles out. He's already behind Hung. And there's a mistake. That's for position. Those drivers have both taken a stop. In fact, I think Hung might... Oh, he blinked away. I thought he was going to blink away into the twilight zone. But he's okay. He brings the car back on track. Yeah. All right. For what it's worth, Thomas Seeger is in... This is a case where just don't do anything silly. This is your race to win. take a couple extra seconds if you need to. Get it in and out of pit lane. Don't speed. He rolls now.
Marcus Sanfilippo and Danilo Sanfilippo go past, so the Sanfilippo brothers are now in the lead.
Seeger is going to cycle out in front of Cudmore. So now we go to the two Sanfilippo boys, which I think are racing for what is going to be second position. Our leader is Marco, but he'll need to stop. Now the driver right in front of him, that's Estefania. Remember, he's made 2 stops, so... And he gets out of the way. He knows what's up.
So we now have to see... Marcus
it's Ben
Benz
from Sanfilippo. Let's see where his brother is. That's Hung that goes by. Here comes Danilo.
So he stays ahead of Danilo, but once again a mistake from Marco. Third mistake this race.
There goes
Lars
Hung.
Hung ahead
Into
goes
the
off.
beach one more time. He's going to let the brothers by. I'm not so sure that wasn't intentional.
And Marcus Sanfilippo goes into pit lane. Lars Hung testing out how rallycross capable a Formula 1 car is. Answer, not at all.
So they're in. We're going to have another battle here in a second. It's going to be for what is currently 5th. I'm not sure how it's going to shake out, but here comes that hard charge. Well, again, the faux hard charger of Usul in the number 12 car. He's coming up on the back of Hung.
And to give you guys out there a little bit of an insight, we had 19 cars starting. We so far lost 7. So attrition quite high today.
Sanfilippo spun coming into pit lane. Or leading. No, I guess was exiting. Leaving his pits. He spun the car around. We'll take a look at this one. Was it leaving? Oh, no. Yeah, it was exiting. I was like, there it is.
Oh, out of his own pit stall. There we go.
So he was in a battle with his brother. They continue to swap it back and forth. So when he starts to go...
The thing with these pit stalls actually is that they are a little bit off-cambered. So it is quite easy to spin out of them.
Well, there you go. That would explain it.
Let's see. Danilo Sanfilippo goes past one more time. So he continues to be in the lead. Let's see how much at the stripe is he ahead of Thomas Seeger, who goes past the stripe right now. And that was 9.6 seconds down the stripe.
Don't need to go there, but Folcom just had a spin. He sacrifices 10th position to Mora. Cudmore comes in. So the big news, we're waiting on Danilo to make a stop. He just kind of coming out of toes, and the car got a little squiggly on him. Let's come on and get some new rubber there, Danilo. He's got about 42 seconds on his brother.
All right. I'm going to make a prediction and say Danilo is going to come in either this or a next lap. I don't think he can or want to go any further than that, especially with a still very high track temperature of 111 degrees Fahrenheit.
You know, I was talking about the Michelle Usul in the 12 car was going to make her own. Here comes Sanfilippo. Well, Usul made a mistake, so he's going to have to work to get up to Hung. All right, so Sanfilippo is in. There goes Seeger by right now.
Hidden for Danilo Sanfilippo, well ahead of the pit limiter. He was already on the 60 kilometers an hour or 37 miles per hour speed limit here.
His brother is now heading into Rabasa. Do the two left-handers, and he'll be back out on the straight. I gotta figure Danilo's gonna get out, and now he starts to roll. It's a long time before he can get on the throttle here. It takes a while. Sanfilippo's on the main straight.
Pit lane dealt about a 30-second mark here.
And now Danilo gets it up to full speed as he heads into the first corner. And now Sanfilippo gets to the first corner. The gap, about 2.5 seconds. But with the way these guys are making mistakes, nothing is safe. All right, let's go through the field. I'm going to take all the drivers on the lead lap, and there's only 5 of them. Thomas Ziegler is your leader. He's got a comfortable lead. How comfortable? How about 31 seconds on the Sanfilippo boys? The first one is Danilo. Not so comfortable as his lead, only 2 seconds over his brother Marco. Then the man who had to make a second pit stop, I think he would have been up in second position if it wasn't for that. Iker Estefania in 4th position. Behind Estefania, well, Lars Hung, he sits in 5th. I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to stay there. He got some faster guys chase him that continue to make mistakes. I'm going to let Stefan talk about those guys.
Next up, in 6th place, it's Ruth's human brother. It's I Am Keyman. Sitting in 6th, started there 1 lap down. A very quiet race from him, thus far apart from his many spins. Michel Usal sitting in 7th position, one of the few drivers to not put in a qualifying lap. He started in 17th, climbed all the way up to 7th place, mostly because of missing the huge start pileup. David Cutmore sitting in 8th place, starting from 9th position, one of the guys to put in a lap, 121.8. Thus far, very quiet in his green car. But hey, better keep it quiet than keep it loud and be out in just a moment. David Sanchez, 9th place right now, starting from 12th place, and not really where you would expect him normally. But once again, a very quiet race, which... Oh, Marcus Sanfilippo just spun! Noses it into the wall yet again. There, we're on the
Alta now. Yep.
It's gonna happen out of Variante Alta.
And there's the Italian foliage out of the way.
And you
there
have
it is
to
right
look
there.
At for that first, he really hits that first curb and just spins it out over that, noses it into the wall. Damage to his nose, but nothing else at the moment.
He's decided to keep the car out on track. He has a 31-second lead over Estefania. Oh boy, he is really struggling too, and now he puts it off. Trying to keep the car on track. It's now down to 30 seconds. He has pretty good pace. I haven't seen it ahead of Apex yet, though. He's lost about another second to Estefania.
If I would have been Marco, I would have pitted there. Just get your front wing replaced and get out there, because he had 40 seconds on Estefania, so he would have been safe. But now Estefania probably has him covered by about 2 or so seconds.
Yeah, maybe he's taken this lap to figure out what actually he has. Although I thought he could have figured it out on the drive to pit lane. But yeah, he's losing. He's going to be losing 4 or 5 seconds a lap, I think. So let's come on in and see what we can do.
And to quickly finish off your top 10 rundown, 10th right now, Kleber Botaro Mura, starting 11th, P10. Very quiet race from him too, as Marcus Sanfilippo comes in to replace his front wing. Yeah,
we thought that was going to happen. So let's go ahead. We look at that. The fun one to pick up will be Estefania. Estefania now heading into Ravazza. This will be close. As Marco has yet to get to his stall. Yet has he? I can't tell if he's leaving. Yeah, he's rolling. No, he's parking it. Yeah.
No.
I forgot that's our pole sitter. That's why the pit stop, the box was so far up, and there he goes.
Oh.
So now we've got ourselves a battle.
Marcus Sanfilippo even changed tires. That's gonna hugely increase his standing time there. So Marcus Sanfilippo now has quite a task ahead of him.
Thomas Seeger goes by, so that puts him a lap down. We thought we might have a battle between Marco Sanfilippo and Thomas Seeger, but we didn't think it would be for staying on the lead lap. And if we can go back to Sanfilippo, a guy who always seems to be in the mix is Hung. There he is, a battle for fourth. Now, there's no way that Hung is going to be able to stay with Sanfilippo, but maybe. We believe he got a fresh nose. We'll see how well that car is doing.
Fresh nose and fresh tires. Tires are about, let's see, Lars Hung did head about 8 laps ago, so Marcus Sanfilippo way younger tires, so he should pull away.
Assuming the car was fixed and it's healthy. Interesting battle. We have Marco Sanfilippo, who's very fast, but we're not sure how healthy his car is. You got Hung, who is not all that quick, and then you got a driver who's been wacky back there, Keeman. That's a battle for 5th spot. Actually, just ahead of us, it's actually for 4th, sorry.
That is all for 4th place. Is Marco Sanfilippo yet again coming in? Oh, did he get a speeding penalty?
I gotta be, because the car didn't seem to be that off pace to have to come in, so I think you got it.
Well, at least not into the pit lane. Let's see, out of the pit lane. No. I do not know why Marcus Sanfilippo is in yet again.
So, that moves Hung up into 4th. Let's look at this battle for 4th right now, because this is Hung and Keeman. You never know what's going to happen with I Am Keeman today. So let's watch this one.
Marcus Sanfilippo rolls again off his pit stall, and it was a 15-second stop, so he had somewhere either a speeding penalty or hit across the white line too early or something like that, but yeah.
All right, now this is Mora getting out of the way, letting these 2 guys go by. 10 laps to go. This will be if Keeman can keep the car off the grass, this will be a fun battle. Well, we did our rundown, and by the time we got through our rundown, things have really shuffled up a bit. So let me just give you the top 5 real quick. It's Seeger, up by 30 seconds on Danilo Sanfilippo. He's got 42 seconds back to Iker Estefania, who races in 3rd despite the 2 pit stops. And then we go back to this battle for 4th, Hung and Keeman. And of course, watching the broadcast is Mark Usher and Antonio Poveda, who have to be saying, "Oh, if only I were there."
Yeah, and one thing that is really interesting is that Thomas Seeger thus far has left all but 2nd and 3rd.
And here's Seeger. Who's he working on there? He's side by side with that's Sanchez.
Sanchez putting him a 2nd lap down. So we now only have 8 cars remaining, 1 lap down. And at this point and this rate, I would honestly expect Thomas Seeger to also lap Iker Estefani, who just got into turn 4. There he currently goes through the Villeneuve chicane, or was it Chuck? Either way, it's the Villeneuve chicane.
There you go. And there we go, back to our leader. Boy, with a 31-second lead. Qualified 2nd. Again, I don't think he has a finish better than 4th. But now, he picks up a win today if he can close out these final 8 laps. That's a championship. If he does end up getting it, will be a little bit sweeter if he can get the championship and a win somewhere along the line to get there. Let's go back to fourth. They come out of Alta, Keeman on the back of Hung. They go through Ravasa. Now this, I think Keeman, I've been watching, he's pretty good through Ravasa. He gets a pretty good drive off of here. I would not be surprised if he doesn't try to make the pass this time. He's about 3 car lengths back. Let's see what straight line speed he has. He's coming down to 2 car lengths. He looks to the inside. Hung leaves the door open for him. Hung does not like to fight. I will live to fight again because I am Keeman. I know you well enough. Chances are you'll end up in the grass and I'll pass you while you're trying to get back on track. Keeman up into fourth. For now. We ride off the gearbox.
Next up, I'm Keeman. It would be Iker Stefania, but Iker Stefania already out of the Variante Auto, going down into the last 2 turns already. So that probably is a bit of a too steep hill to climb up to P3.
All right. See if I can find ourselves a battle out there somewhere. Maybe at least give a little love to some drivers we haven't talked much about. How about we look at David Sanchez in the car number 14, racing in 9th. He's got I Am Keeman up on him, and Hung is coming. What has Sanchez done? Up 3 spots.
2 red cars behind each other. David Sanchez, a little bit of a dark red than the red of I Am Keeman.
Here we go. Now, Keeman trying to get the pass made. This is not for position. Sanchez pulls out of the way. Here comes Hung. That is for position. Trying to get back up to Keeman. Again, Hung knows he's not as fast as Keeman. And again, it's a case of just keeping the car on track. Hung up 2 spots, qualified in 7th, and there's Sanchez getting out of the way as they work through Alta. Go ahead and ride on board with our leader for a little while.
And I have been keeping an eye on the gap between Seeger and Estefania, and Estefania about a second to 1.2 seconds slower than Seeger. Each and every lap, that gap is closing rapidly, and at this point I wouldn't even be surprised if Seeger really manages to also lap 3rd place finisher Iker Estefania.
Yeah, Estefania right now going into Piratella, sorry. And now here comes Seeger into Piratella. Been a good race. It's been an exciting race. Lots of mistakes out there. Round number 9 of the batteries not included 2019 Spring Season Championship. I believe we're going to have ourselves a new point leader if everything holds like it is. Look for the German driver Thomas Seeger to be up on top. The story of the season for Xavi Ross, fast but mistakes. Ross is out. Let's give a little love to a driver that was on his lid on lap number 1, 12th position, John Pat Kelly.
Yeah, remarkable how fast these stewards, the marshals, are here in Imola. turning that car back onto its full wheels. And then also the garage guys quickly reassembling this car and sending it out in P12. So he is gonna be very happy here today, not losing all that many iRating here, because he, after all, is our number 7.
Finished ahead of Xavi Ross. Come on, that's a good day. I believe we do only have 12 cars out there right now. Well, Keeman now up by about almost 3 seconds on Hung. Again, for now, he has 4 laps to go. It has been an eventful 4th place for I.M. Keeman. The question all the fans have is, will Estefania finish on the lead lap? Not so sure how much Thomas Seeger is going to work to get up there. We look at him. We go to our leader now. Down into Paratella. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. Now into Aqua Minerale. Then to the right-left chicane of...
And
Alta.
every now and then you see a car going through your screen ahead of Thomas Seeger. That already is the car of Iker Estefania. So he is getting very close now, but only 2 laps to go at the end of this one.
Right on board with Estefania. A little speck. That is your leader. 2 to go. I think that Iker's probably going to be safe to finish on the lead lap, if he chooses to.
Well, he still is about a second slower than Thomas Seeger each lap. So if Seeger stays in this and doesn't back down and say, yeah, you're gonna be on the lead lap because I choose to, then he will most definitely be a lap down at the end of this race.
Iker just may want the race to end sooner. It doesn't matter if he finishes on the lead lap or not. He's going to be in 3rd position. Maybe dinner's cooking. If he lets Seeger pass him, that's 1 less lap he'll have to do. Saves him about 1 minute and 20 seconds of his life. It's been a long time coming for the German driver Thomas Seeger to get a win. His first one of the season. And we expect to see him at the top of the point standings next round. With Usher and Preveda not here, that takes them out of the mix when we start looking for drop race standings. I guess Usher has been dominating. He's already won 4 races as Seeger works the white flag lap. Not so sure if Usher were to come back and run the table, if that wouldn't be enough points to win. We'll see. We ride on board with our leader, Thomas Seeger, looking ahead. Oh, we're not on board anymore. There it is. Estefania, I think, is going to have to go around 1 more time unless he slows down. They work through Aqua Minerale. The chicane that is Alta, then the 2 Ravazas, and then it's home free from there. You know, they say it's not over till the fat lady sings, but she's putting on her horn helmet and she's about to regale us in song out of Ravaza. Round number 9 goes to the German driver, Thomas Seeger. Danilo Sanfilippo riding right behind Mora. Careful, boys. Mora says, go on by. So it is Danilo who will better his brother by about 6 positions. As gridding in 5th, he's going to come home in 2nd. And the last car on the lead lap is Iker Estefania. No matter what happens to him, he's going to finish 3rd. As he works through the final chicane, then those 2 left-handers. 19 cars took the grid. 12 cars will finish racing. 3 cars will finish racing on the lead lap. The big name that did not finish, Xavier Ross. The 2 big names that did not show up, Antonio Pavetta and Mark Usher. Coming across 3rd position, Iker Estefania. And with that, the racing is over here in Italy, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC on IESN.
I can still remember what it was like the first time I stepped into a race car. The sound of the engine, the anticipation, but I never could have imagined where this journey would take me. My father once told me that racing is just like life. You have to stay on your toes, because you never know what's around the next corner. My name is Bill Watson, and this is my story.
Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship, round number 9 here from Imola. The results are in. Let's bring them to you now. 3 cars on the lead lap. Taking up his first win of the season and moving to the top of the championship points is Thomas Seeger, racing out of Germany. Danilo Sanfilippo gets the second position. He finishes 36 seconds behind the German. Iker Estefania, a great run from him, qualified in third. That's where he's going to finish. And that's the last car on the lead lap. Then we get to the cars that were 1 lap down. I am Keeman. He was on the grass. He was back on the track. He was on the grass, back on the track. He gets 4th. How about this? Lars Hung gets the 5th position. My goodness, good to keep the car just going in the right direction. Michael Ussel goes in 6th spot. A good run from him. Marco Sanfilippo, our pole sitter. Boy, he had some issues as well, including some pit stop problems. He has to settle for 7th. A disappointing race for him. David Cudmore comes home in 8th. David Sanchez in 9th position. Rounding out your top 10, it's Cleaver Mora. All right. 7th.
Jerry Falkhope, your last car, 2 laps down in 11th place. John Pat Kelly, after being on his lead on lap 1, turn 1, he is the sole car 3 laps down, and also the last car finishing. The list of cars not finishing quite long. Xavi Ross 20 laps down, Robert Plumley 21, Roman Stark 22 laps down, Stefano Calasibera 30 laps down, Frederick Domas 31 laps down, Mark Anderson 41 laps down, Dave Peterson 40 laps down, both of them not taking the green flag of this 19-car field.
The warm weather took too much out of our drivers, and nobody had the strength to climb up here to the booth so they could talk to us. So with that, we're going to close. We'd like to thank everybody in the Williams iRacing community, and especially Clayton McLeod for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. On screen now are just some of the companies that provide the software and hardware GSRC uses to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to June Yulon. You know what she does? Well, she provides our wonderful music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. This series, The Batteries Not Included, will return in 1 week, and that'll be for round number 10. Where are we going? Well, it's May. Where else? We're going to Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Road Course. GSRC and IESN will be there. We hope that you join us. If you'd like more information about GSRC, I got lots of options for you. How about this simple one, globalsimracingchannel.com, or if you're one of those people who like to use social media, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, Instagram at GSRC_Gram. All of the upcoming races for our other series are listed on your screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar so you don't miss a thing here on the GSRC. Also, if you haven't done so, you have to become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Stefan, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as the fan favorite Thomas Seeger, racing out of Germany, picks up his first win of the season here, round number 9 at Imola. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, you know what to do. Race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.